You're listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast with your host, Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. As a motivational speaker, Johnny D impacts audiences around the world with his message of living the outstanding life. He's a best-selling author, MC, and two-time Grammy-considered artist. This podcast is a place where Johnny D can introduce you to his outstanding friends and share funny, interesting, and heart-provoking stories. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Here comes your host, Johnny D.
Hey everybody, I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. I am pumped up about today's show. I tell you what, you know that I bring the coolest guest into the show, man, and today is going to be like none other. I can promise you that. Today's show is with Jayson Waller. He's going to share his story from trailer park, high school dropout, no college, and teen dad to becoming a CEO of $1 billion company. Man, I tell you what, Jayson, are you there, buddy?
How you doing?
Outstanding, man. I tell you what, just so you know, I got my buddy Brian in the house.
Great to be here again. I'm getting used to this, so I'm glad to be here.
I tell you what,
hey, this is a cool setup you guys got here. My stuff's not as fancy and as cool as this. I'm going to have to learn something from you guys here. This is a cool game.
Hey, Jayson, just so you know, Brian is a school teacher right here in Rochester, right?
Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah, so we went to high school together, and now we've been friends, and he co-hosts a show with me once in a while. So this guy runs Ironman competitions and stuff like that. So just a great guy, and I want to welcome Brian to the show as well.
Thanks for having me, and I'm excited to meet Jayson today. So,
Jayson, listen,
Brian, thanks for being a teacher, dude. Man, we love that stuff. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, the kids need us. That's for sure.
Yeah. Jayson, listen, man. I mean, you talk about just a great story. You built several companies from scratch into multi-million-dollar companies. Your current company, POWERHOME Solar, ranked among the top 100 companies in 2019 Inc. 500 list of the fastest-growing private companies in America. Man, your self-made success came from hustle, heart, and toughness. I don't even know where to start today, but I know I got 50 minutes with you, and I am pumped up. So first, I want to ask, what were you like as a kid?
Well, I was not the same, obviously. I had but, my old man's from Ferndale, Michigan. So obviously I've got some roots here in Michigan, and he's had that us versus the world mentality. Yep. And he's a hard worker and blue collar guy. And my mom was from North Carolina. They had 3 wonderful kids, and we were raised in Arizona till I was about 14. And then my dad stayed with AT&T and transferred. He had an opportunity to open a business, and he didn't. And he stayed with AT&T, and we moved in North Carolina, and he grinded hard, worked multiple jobs. I helped him with jobs, but it was different. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, I was just looking at some pictures a buddy of mine sent from middle school, so it's like 27 years ago. I'm about this big around, and I thought I was a gangster, and all my friends were Vatos Locos forever. I used to watch all those West Coast, movies. But I mean, back then I was grinding a little bit too. I was shooting dice at school, thought I was cool. I'd loaded dice. And my dad's friend had a video store. I was 14, working a job there, making money so I can pay for my pager, because my parents didn't have a lot of money, so they weren't going to pay for the pager. I had to work.
You're showing all of our age there, Jayson. Yeah. You're showing our age.
Yeah. Pagers were cool though. Like, I remember a time, I have 4 kids, and my daughter Mackenzie just got her license yesterday, and I'm like, make sure you keep your 360 on, and I know where you're at. You're texting, you're calling. But I'm sitting here thinking, when I had my license, there wasn't anything. I had a pager, and I would have to go stop at a payphone and put a quarter in and call my parents and be like, this is where I'm at. And it was just different. So yeah, it's definitely showing our age.
So listen, is it? I read a story last night. I just couldn't get enough of your stories. I helped my daughter yesterday. I called Brian. I was helping my daughter paint some rooms in her new house, and I hate painting. Hate it. Oh, but I was listening to your podcasts and getting to know you a little bit, and I painted her house, Brian and Jayson, because of the memory. Mm-hmm. She'll always remember Dad not paying a guy, but helping her paint. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like one of those cool dad
Just
moments.
the visual, you doing a ceiling paint with your T-shirt popping up and everything, looking like, I think that would be worth it.
Was it a belly shirt or a half shirt?
No, but listen, I heard a story. Were you really bullied for wearing some fake Tommy Hilfiger shirts or jeans or something like that?
Yes.
Tell me the story. I got to hear it.
Yeah. So when we moved to North Carolina, my mom was from North Carolina. My dad transferred. We moved into a trailer park called Southbrook. And I never lived in a trailer before. In Arizona, where we grew up, we lived in I would say it's a little less than middle class. Maybe, it's not poverty or projects, but it was not middle class. But the neighborhood next to us was middle class. We always wanted to be in that neighborhood. When we moved to North Carolina, it was the trailer park. I didn't know any different. I thought that was, it's no big deal. At school, it was a big deal. They'd be like, oh, you live in Southbrook? Oh, you live in the trailer park? So there was a lot of judgment in North Carolina. And my grandma, my mom's mom, worked at a flea market in Elkin, North Carolina. And we would go up there and I'd buy fake Tommy Hilfigers from the swap meter flea market. And I mean, dude, my parents would buy it for me. It's like $10 and you get this Tommy Hilfiger sweater that looked like it may have came from Nordstrom or back then or Sears, but didn't. And I would wear it to school and people would say stuff and make fun of me. And, it was hard. In North Carolina, a lot of people come from the Northeast that sell their homes and then they have a little money in their pocket that they've never had before. And then look, I'm just stating facts. So everybody in the South that listens to this, the people born in the South, they're okay. The people from the North that go to the South, they are a little different because they feel entitled and they're very judgmental of other people because they think that they've really earned their money by selling a house that was worth 10 times more in New York and moving to North Carolina. You didn't earn anything. You got lucky. So, that mentality there of judgment and measurable, who are you? Where do you live? What do you drive? What are you wearing? That's still there in North Carolina today as an adult. I flow better here in Michigan because I feel like people are more real. I'm friends with several entrepreneurs, Brian Elias being one of them. He's my CEO coach, good friend. People might remember him from Hanson's Windows. He's a great dude. I met him by circumstance because of my car at the gym. We ended up being really good friends, and he's a mentor of mine. And I've got other friends that, live paycheck to paycheck and struggle and rent an apartment, and they're all the same. Whether you have a lot of money, you have a little money, the people here, it's about being real and it's the same and there's not judgment and you can love and have relationships differently. I'm not knocking North Carolina, but and I go back and forth 6 months there, 6 months here, that there's a problem there in the South of where it's been tainted and it's not like that. It's always a lot of jealousy, a lot of secretive, a lot of judgment. And you don't get that in Michigan, in my opinion. People are like, oh, that's not true. My opinion, my experience, I have friends all over the board.
Yep.
And I love each one of them the same. They love me the same. Our wives, I mean, it's all, and you don't even pay attention to who they are, what they have, what they do. It's about being real. And I that's what I loved about Detroit, New York. There's certain places in the world that's us versus the world mentality. Yeah. That's what I love about the place. I feel like I belong here because it's kind of my upbringing. The True Underdog podcast I've got, that's what it's about. It's about, going against the grain and taking, the big companies on or taking the bullies on or taking the chance on or the business on and doing something. And I feel at home in that element here with people.
Yeah, Brian, I know you have something to say, but I got one quick question. Listen, man, being from North Carolina, I've done a lot of work out of, the Charlotte area, Morrisville, being around the whole NASCAR scene and stuff like that. When you moved to North Carolina, did you end up being a NASCAR fan?
Okay, so my wife, her family was into racing. Her dad, back a long time ago when she was, less than 10 years old, used to go to the races all the time. They owned land out there by Charlotte Motor Speedway. So when I moved there, I liked it for a couple of years. When Earnhardt raced, I liked his attitude. I thought this is cool. After he passed, I really wasn't into it. It bored me. I lived in Concord, North Carolina. So you're from there. It's where I lived from 94 to 2012. Then I moved to Mooresville. So I lived over there in the Point.
Yep.
And then I moved over to Davidson. We have a house in Davidson now, and then a house in Birmingham. So I'm familiar with all those areas. You said I'm friends with some of the race car drivers. Good guys. They have a different personality than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the newer
Absolutely.
northern money, and you know what I'm talking about. That comes from the north to the south, and it's a little different. That's where I struggled.
Yep, I love it, and I know Brian's itching because Brian,
itching,
you kind of had the same story though. I mean, and when I told you Jayson was going to be on the show, you're reading some of the stuff about him, and you're like, dude, I've lived this. I grew up in a trailer park.
Our beginning was very. I can one up you on the thing though that someone had the brilliant idea though while I lived in a trailer park to send me to a private school where obviously they had
That's
money.
Where we met.
So I got jumped off on a bus where from the public school. So it was painful. But I also wanted to say, do you remember? Forget the Tommy Hilfiger. Did you ever pull off wearing parachute pants?
Yes,
dude, I pulled that off pretty well. I love the MC Hammer pants.
I had 3 of those bad boys.
Those are great pants right there.
Hey, look,
I'm wearing a Biggie shirt right now, and the question always comes: is it Biggie or Pac? And I like Pac because I'm from Arizona, but I'm supporting Biggie today. We had some sales managers in the office today, so I used to wear the MC Hammer pants, the purple Fila's. Anything I can get that would make me at least somewhat be cool. I was
Jayson, I love this. When I read this, I thought of the way that I created my business 23 years ago, and that was, the speaking business. You broke into corporate America by telling some white lies to get hired into the companies. And,
yes.
you talk about faking it until you make it. Talk a little bit about that and like where you worked. Because, you still worked for some pretty big companies, AT&T, Verizon Wireless. you were great in sales.
Yeah. So, when I moved, I always thought I had game. My wife would tell you my game's not that good, but I thought I had game. I got her. So, and we're high school sweethearts. Loyalty's big to me. We've been together for 23 years now and been married for 19. And then, I've got 4 kids. My oldest 21. I've got a granddaughter. It's 15 months old. And I'm only 40, so I'm doing good. But
is that what it says on social? That's what I say too.
Well, I went from a DILF to a GILF. That's what it says on social.
I love that. I love when you say that.
But when I got kicked out of school the last day of 10th grade, and I passed 10th grade. And, during school, I would help my dad deliver papers. So he worked at AT&T, third shift most of the time, sometimes second shift. And when he did second shift, I'd help him deliver papers at night. It was an extra $100, $120 he'd make. I would be working at Boston Market. I would still go to school. It's just what we did, right? So my mom would work at a Harris Teeter bakery. And that's how that was normal to me. And then I'd go to school. So I'd be delivering papers in the middle of the night till 3 or 4 in the morning. So I had this hard work ethic. When I got my heart broken in 97, early 97. Yep. I was supposed to graduate class of 98. When I got kicked out of school after 10th grade in 96, I decided I could either go get a GED, do nothing, or go to Stanley Community College and do the high school diploma program. Yep. So I went to Stanley Community College. I did the high school diploma program. And because I had an injury in a landscaping truck where I got like $4,000, which was enough to pay my insurance for like 10 months. So I had this $300 car. The insurance was more than what the car was worth. So needless
what kind
to
of car
say,
was it?
It was an 85 Dodge Lancer. It was about 5 colors. The insulation would be falling out of the top. The acceleration was broken. It was bad. I got it painted at Econo for $200 when I got the money. But so I went to school morning and night to get it done. Like, you know what? I can get this done. So I'm opening the books, and it was Mickey Mouse, and you're filling out a form. You're not learning anything. I didn't get to do graduation. I didn't get to do prom, none of that stuff. But I had a diploma from Stanley Community College. Well, in 97, I got my heart broken. And Liz broke up with me at the time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to drive to Arizona, and I'm going to go to college. I'm going to take my SATs. So I go to my parents, and I sold them on this idea in the same day. Hey, I'm leaving to Arizona tonight, taking my buddy Kenneth with me. We're driving across country. We're good. They're freaking out. I'm like, I got this. So they sign over parental rights. I talked them into this to go to my one of my best friends who bought my old house. His family bought our old house in Arizona. I was going back to live in my old house with my best friend, with his parents, in my old room, as ironic and crazy as that is. And so we drive 3 days 36 hours, 12 hours a day to Arizona, and we get there. And I'm 17 years old, no cell phones, none of that jazz. And I get there, and I'm starting to take the SATs, and I'm trying to figure out how I can try to go to college to ASU, and I've got all these plans. And my best friend's a senior in high school. And I said, I'm bored. This sucks. So I talked to Mary and Eddie at the time, and I convinced them to, hey, look, I've got these transcripts that say I graduated, but let's go make 5-cent copies at the gas station, and let's make sure it doesn't say I graduated, but I still have the credits, so I can go to high school with everybody else and be a senior and see what that's like. No, you don't need to do that, mijo. I'm like, yes, I do. I've got this. We can do this. So I talk her into it because she felt bad for me. And so I got to go to school when I wasn't supposed to for like 3 months. And I took classes like computer and business and extended long lunches. And I got this job with my business partner now, Kevin Klink. And we were selling credit card protection over the phone. I saw he was rolling in this like brand new neon with Dayton's. And I'm like, Kevin, this guy's got money. So I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm selling, telemarketing. I'm selling credit card protection. I'm making like $400 a week. I'm like, part-time? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, I want in. So I go there and they've got like 100 employees, and me and him for the next like 6-9 weeks are number 1 and 2 in the company back and forth. And we're making $400 or $500 a week part-time. So I got a taste early of what sales was like, calling people saying, I see you got this credit card, but you don't have protection, and you learn it, right? And you get motivated and you're hungry. Well, then we get approached by a company next down the hall that's selling home security. So I'm like, hey, we can do that. So we go get a part-time. We change jobs there. I'm making $600-700 a week, basically calling and saying, hey, this is Jayson. Do you remember going to the mall and registering for the Dodge Durango? Yeah, great news. You're still in the runnings for that. But do you hear this? Look, you've just won a free home security system, free installation, pay $1 a day for the monitoring. When can we come schedule, do your installation? We'll get you set up, get your prize, blah, blah, blah. We smashed it at that. And then I'm doing well, and Kevin's loving it, and we're making money. I talked to Liz, and I decided to come back to North Carolina. And so I drive by myself, still 17. And I drive, this time I do it in 2 days, 18-hour drives each time. And I get home. And when I do, I now that I've got sales experience, I'm looking for sales jobs. I can't find any. So I see one at First Union, which now is Wachovia, which now I think is Wells Fargo. But it was First Union, and it was in Charlotte. They had a CIC center off Harris Boulevard that was a brand new building that was flourishing with all these jobs. I saw an opportunity to do sales there. Basically, sales is customer service / sales, where you upgrade people to checking, money market checking accounts and offer them CDs and stuff like that. So I was like, I can do that job. Surely I can do that job. There's no problem me doing that job. So I applied for it, but because you had to have a college education, and because I had a fake ID and I was only 17 at the time, you had to be like 21 or 22 to have a college education. I filled out the ID like I was 21, getting ready to be 22, because that's what my ID said. And I filled it out and said I had an associate's degree. And so when I did that, now back in mind, so everyone, the listeners and viewers know that they didn't have like real internet like they do now, where you can punch something in and find a billion things on somebody. Wasn't like that. Everything took time. It was snail mail. It was ridiculous back then. So I did this not thinking I was doing anything wrong, because I went and I did the interview. I killed the interview. I got the job. I get into training for 3 weeks. The first 2 weeks, I'm number 1. They're allowing us live on the phone. I'm beating everyone on the floor for sales. I'm blowing it out of the water. Like, almost like, and remember, this is all legal stuff, but when you watch Wolf of Wall Street and the guy's on the phone, and it was like, it felt like that. Like, they're like, what is he doing? I was just so good on the phone.
Yep.
And so HR pulls me to the side and it's like, hey, William Waller, because it's William Jayson Waller. We've called UNCC Charlotte and they don't have your transcripts for your associate's degree. And I said, well, did you check under William or check under Jayson? Oh, we checked under Jayson. Nope. You got to check under William. So that bought me some time. So now my stomach's in pits. I'm like, oh, geez, I'm nervous. I'm really doing well. I go on the floor. I'm doing well. A week goes into me on the floor. I'm number 1. I win an award. My manager pulls me to the side. Same conversation. I need to know what's the deal. They can't find nothing. So I came clean with them. And I said, look, no, I don't have a degree. And I don't even think we talked about age. But he's like, well, dude, why would you lie? And I said, you guys wouldn't have hired me if I didn't. You wouldn't even give me a shot. I wouldn't even got the interview. And now look, I'm the number 1 rep You're the number one manager. So now I'm selling him on why this is a good thing. And he's like, don't ever do that again. And he was a mentor for me. I'd worked there like 9 months and I was making 65, 70 grand a year at 17, just turned 18 years old on a job I probably shouldn't have had. And that gave me a taste of what sales and success was, to where then I got a job at AT&T. And then, fast forward, I get a job at Verizon when it was Bell Atlantic, and I'm one of their number one folks, and until I open a business. But it gave me that drive of, that's what this looks like. And this is how success can happen.
Jayson, when I hear that story, I think about when I gave up everything, to be a speaker. But my last job, I was a marketing director for a Fortune 500 company. Yep. And I started out doing sales. And I remember going in there, I would stand on the tables. I mean, I just loved what I did. And I was good at it. I was top 50 out of 10,000 salespeople all over the country. I would hit top 50 every single week. I'd go in on Saturdays. I'd work Sundays. I just loved it. But then it made everybody mad. You know what I mean? Because they hated that I was successful. But I was passionate. And that's what I love about you, Jayson, is you're passionate. And I have to ask, with over 12 or 1,300 employees, do you look for passion in the people that work for you these days? Do you,
go ahead,
I'm sorry.
Well, no, because of that story, because I'm real big on resumes are fake, right?
Absolutely.
I can soup up a resume and make me look like a rock star and get a job at a, Fortune that I should never even dream of. Yep. Resumes are overrated. It really just gets you into the realm of interviewing. And so we structure our business for our directors and our leaders and our managers to really hire on those things. The why, passion. Is this a career? Is it something they believe in? Is it just a job? What drives them? Are they hungry?
Yep.
People that are complacent, people that don't have a drive, they don't have a why, and they don't have passion, they won't fit our model. Our model is not every day we're just doing enough for shareholders. We don't have shareholders. The goal is to go public. But in a company that grows as fast as we did, and thank you for mentioning the Inc. 500, we've won that 3 out of 4 years. But, we'll do, over 3 to 400 million in sales this year, $1 billion next year. I would have never imagined anything like this. But the only way you grow like this is we have an 80-20 rule. 80% of the staff we want to keep every month. We want to churn and burn the bottom 20. People that it's just a job. They're not doing enough. They don't care. They don't have the passion. They're not putting in the effort. They're cancerous. They're destroying the brand. They're holding everyone else down. We enable and empower our directors to hold KPIs for everybody down and to make them accountable. And I believe life, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be a business, is like golf. We all have the sand bunkers. We all have the out of bounds, the rough. There's no excuses. You control your shot. You control your score. If somebody is doing 200 sales to somebody doing 10, the one doing 10 sucks. The one doing 200 is killing it. And you need to get people that are closer to the 200 on the team to continue to grow. So as we do that, if you're Microsoft and you don't want to grow, you want to stay the same, that's okay. You get great people. We get great people that are hungry and want to move up and want to drive and want to do things. And what's cool is almost every one of our directors and all of our regionals and district managers in sales and in production have all started at the bottom. So they have all moved their ways up where it excites them and they know that there's a path, a career path for them, not only for advancement and to feel good, but also to make more money and provide for their family and be a part of something great. So because myself and our team are so passionate about culture and what we're looking for and trying to, and look, it's not duplicate me because you can't have a bunch of the same thing. It never works. Absolutely. But you can find different tools that these people have, and you just got to give them a chance, and they got to want something. They want to be about something. That's the difference, rather than go, well, you've got great experience of doing this, I think I'm going to hire you. That does nothing, and it's wasteful. And so we try, and look, we're still getting better at it, but we try to groom them to ask the right questions, interview the right way. And then what we also do is we just recently started a national training and development group in our company that goes through and works with these managers that maybe they're rock stars, but they've never been managers before because they moved up to our company. So now we want to develop them how to hold people more accountable, how to structure schedules, how to hold meetings. So we're making them better anyways because we know that's the deficiency. That's what you get. When you get people that are passionate, sometimes they're hungry and they got all these things that you want. You have to develop the other skills. And I don't think that passion is a developed skill. You either have it and you want it or you don't. You either believe in it or you don't. but we can teach people how to work a computer, how to talk on a phone, how to do process. And that's where we kind of are as an organization.
You guys have a mission. That's basically it. I mean, you guys are on a mission. I mean, and that's the cool part of this whole thing. I know, Brian, you got a question. Go ahead.
Well, first, I was going to argue with you, Jayson, on one thing. You forgot with golf. My golf balls tend to find woods, caves, hornets' nests, all those things. But anyway, regardless of that, I think we might be related because you've basically described, there are 2 early chapters in a book I wrote. Number 2 was have a purpose. If you don't, you're shooting at a blank target. I love that with what you were talking about. The other one was 80-20. I can't tell you how many meetings I've been in where 20% of the people hijack the meeting and you get nowhere because all they're going to do, like you said, it's like you drop the dead weight. If it's not adding purpose or anything of benefit or value to what you're doing, you just got to cut it. And I love that you have that mentality or that 80-20 rule. I thought that was really, really cool.
I mean, I appreciate that. I try to run it like a basketball bench, right? If you've got the best team out there, you want to always have the best team and you want to have a great bench. If they're not able to put up points, they're not able to do anything, they're not benefiting the whole team, that's not helpful. And everything's about the brand. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. I mean, in a nutshell, that's what you're saying. I want to know the story about your now mother-in-law. When you were dating your wife, she did not like you, is what I kind of read. And I remember hearing or reading a story about her taking you guys out to eat one time and wouldn't even buy you a barbecue sandwich.
Likes me now. So my wife had a tougher childhood than I ever did. I will say that, and we're open about it. We talk about it a lot more recently, but her and her family had money when she was younger, and then her dad went to prison when she was 9. Feds kicked in the door, held them at gunpoint, and put him in jail. For money laundering, all kinds of stuff. It was crazy. And I met her when she was 14. She was with her mom and her sister. Her mom was already divorced. Her dad was in prison. And they had more than we had. But compared to what they used to have, they didn't have a lot.
Right.
But they were doing pretty good. And so naturally, I try to defend somewhat how her mom felt back then. I'm real strict on my wife, myself, and my kids to ever judge anybody on anything. You don't know anybody's situation. I did a whole podcast about judgment is the worst thing you can ever do.
I listened to it.
It doesn't matter, right?
It was great.
Thank you. But with her, Liz liked me and her family, her mom and the rest of her sister and other people would be like, why are you dating him? He lives in a trailer park. He can stick his feet out the window, move his house. All these things. That's the stuff they would say. So, there's times in your life or people in your life that it pisses you off to drive to where you're really motivated.
Yep.
And that was during that time, that was one of those boxes or pillars that I had to put as one of my steps to make sure that I checked off. And when they picked me up to go, I don't remember, it was election year and it was one of those, you go to the church, they had all the politicians there and they have the barbecue sandwiches there off Moorhead Road in North Charlotte. And she picked us up and went there, and I remember the feeling. So she bought her and Liz a sandwich and her boyfriend a sandwich or whatever, Ollie, and not me. And I didn't care. Like, I don't even care. But my wife, her girlfriend at the time, was bothered because I guess she argued with her mom. I could see from a distance. She sits down, and she felt bad, and she's sharing the sandwich with me like, hey, I'm sorry my mom's being this way. And that feeling that I saw her feel bothered me. Yep. It didn't bother me because her mom didn't like me and buy me anything. It bothered me that she felt embarrassed of how her mom made her feel about me not having a lot. And so that was motivation for me because I didn't like seeing Liz feel bad for me. I don't want anyone to ever pity me, right? Right. I don't like to owe anybody anything, and I don't like to feel any pity. And that was a motivational thing. So long story be told, I mean, we had a big battle for a couple of years. When we first got married, our first marriage, nobody was there except my parents and a buddy of mine and Hannah, my daughter, who was 2.5. It was literally like, hey, Liz, I'm going to buy a house. I know you're dating this guy. I'm dating this girl. We're always cheating on our boyfriends and girlfriends anyways. I don't want to buy this house alone. Why don't you just pick me up and we get married? Really? Yeah. She picks me up. We're in normal clothes. We go to the Justice of Peace. We get married. Then we tell her mom, hey, guess what? We got married and shit's going to change, right? I'm the husband. You want to be part of this circle. You're going to have to allow us to stay here while we build it. Like all these things, right? So that changed everything when that happened. I think her mom gained some respect for me that I laid the law down. But I motivated myself to every time when I made it, and it, you know, and it was early on, you know, I was doing well at Verizon and other businesses. I'd never want them to ever pay or buy anything for me. Not that they did ever.
That's the part of the story that I absolutely love, Jayson. Is
I pull that card out every time. I'm like, I got it, guys. Hey, dinner's on me. It's on me. Here you go. Every time.
I love that. I love how. And again, I didn't want to bring up the that story for the negative side of it, but the back end of it, it's again goes back to the passion that little nugget motivated you to be like, hey, listen, from now on, you will never ever pick up a tab again ever with me and my wife and with my family.
That's right.
That's the part that I love, man. My dad didn't have a whole lot, but he always told me, he goes, when you go out, you have enough for everybody. Yeah. You don't have just enough for yourself. And I just remembered that. It's like, so Jayson, we're going to have some fun with you right now. Brian, we like to call it.
I call it this or that. And this is perfect because don't overthink anything, kind of like the marriage you just explained where you said just call it up and say we're going. Same thing with this. I have nothing to give you anyway, so there's no prizes or anything. But what I am going to keep track, though, because we're going to prove once and for all if we're related, because I'm starting to wonder right now. So
well, hey, my dad's from here, so
I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to wonder, my friend. I'm starting to wonder. So don't overthink. Just pick one, and I'll keep track. Here we go. Ocean or lake?
Ocean.
Baked potatoes or mashed potatoes?
Mashed potatoes.
Rolling Stones or the Beatles?
Rolling Stones.
Ugh. Beer or whiskey?
Beer.
Actions or words?
Actions.
Here's a toughie. Ready? Hated for who you are or loved for who you're not?
Hated for who I am.
Johnny Cash or Kenny Chesney?
Ooh, Johnny Cash.
Sharks or dolphins?
Sharks.
Skittles or Starburst?
Skittles.
Golf or putt-putt?
Golf.
Yeah, because you can drink beer.
Yeah.
And cigars.
Yeah. Friday the 13th or Halloween?
Friday the 13th.
Superpower, time travel or invisibility?
Invisibility.
And finally, would you like to be the reigning champ or the underdog?
I'd rather be the underdog.
Yes, I knew it.
All right, out of 13, we have 10 the same, Jayson. It's very possible, dude, that we're...
That's a lot.
I'm not
what three didn't we have?
Come on, the Beatles. There is no better band than the Beatles, ever. There's no Stones without the Beatles. The other one, I go Starburst, and I chose, if I can be on top, I'm staying on top, reigning champ. Yeah. So other than that, we were dead on.
Yeah, and
Jayson,
you know what
it is? I need doubt. I need doubt, and I need to be pushed, because when I don't like to be comfortable. I don't. If I'm comfortable, then I don't feel like I'm being pressured. I need the pressure.
It's a good
Jayson,
point.
Just so you know, me and you were at like 100%.
Oh, stop.
So that was, but no, and that brings me up to the next thing, and what drives you. It's the doubters and haters. Again, it goes back to the way that I am, and I love it when people tell me I can't do something, because it will make me mad, and I will make sure that I do it and do it so much better. Why is it for you that you love the doubters and haters?
Because I feel like in every business I've opened, even my own family, you're going to do a home security company, whatever. Like, no one believes in it, where you almost feel insulted. You feel less than, and I don't get angry. I just get motivated.
Yeah.
And so along the way, when you're driving on your highway and working your butt off, or you're going up your stairs one step at a time, whatever it is, I like to convert those haters into fans, right? There's nothing that feels better. I know this is a sickness.
I love that.
Than somebody who hated on you, didn't think you would do it, doubted you, to become your biggest fan or even work for you. Like, there's nothing bigger than that. Now, I don't hold it over their head. I'm not angry. I'm not rubbing it in their face, but it is the biggest compliment, because not only did I convert you of saying I couldn't and I wouldn't and I shouldn't, but now you're all in wanting to help me get there, either by watching or being a part of it and doing what I need you to do. That is exhilarating. It feels like you've changed the entire outlook on their perception of you by hard work and not fighting back or hating back or running your mouth, but by proving while they're busy. You always know horse racers, horses, when they're racing, they got their blinders on. Haters like to watch everybody else do stuff and complain.
Yep.
And winners like to just work and then, and bring them along. So it's just a motivational thing for me. I need that. It's happened in business and peers, competitors. It's happened even, before you get married, you got girlfriends. I mean, you can never get that girl. Yeah, I can. Like, it's just that you think of Back to the Future with Marty McFly. They call him Chicken. I almost feel like when they're challenging me and say they can't do it, it's like my version of they just called me a chicken. Like, what? Yeah, I can. Like, we can't be limited by what people tell us. And I think that's the biggest message for people is when people tell you can or can't, that's because they're insecure and they can't. Amen. That doesn't mean you can't. And I think that's where I try to strive really well on.
Well, Jayson, do me a favor. Can I get some Jayson therapy then? Because that was the one that we had different. I like reigning champ because I like to stand on the top and say, come get it. If you think you can take it, come take, get it from me.
But
maybe I need it. That's my sickness.
That.
No, all right.
I'm not against that. If you want the belt, you got to beat the best.
All right, so I don't need therapy. That's outstanding. All right, good.
But for me, being up top, so this podcast morphed. Our business is flourishing and it's booming.
Yep.
And I've got a great team. I'm a big believer in you can't be a single person. If you want to grow something great for everybody in the company, you got to have great leaders, great teammates, great employees. It's not a one-man show, right?
Yep.
And so by no means is it my show. I pick the final decision because I'm a power freak, right? A control freak. But I have people smarter than me. I didn't know what EBITDA was 2 years ago. I didn't know how to structure HR or compliance or deal with Salesforce. All these things that I'm not good at. You hire people smarter to do that, and they make you more intelligent to do that. When you get to the point where things are flowing, and I do what I do best now is do the sales meetings to motivate, do the vision, negotiate contracts with NFL teams, whatever it is that I'm doing that I love and keeping the organization motivated and holding the executives accountable, I feel like I'm at the top. I get bored. Now, it's like, come get it. But sometimes you get too high on that mountain, people aren't coming for you. So I don't want to get bored and wither away. I love you're at this mountain, but can you get that mountain? I need that. Everyone's different. And I totally agree with when you're on top, it's good to tell people to come get it, but I still need to keep going. My therapist, I see a therapist and I'm good with that. Just talked to her a little bit ago. She always states, you never enjoy your journey. You keep pushing the destination further. That is my strength and my weakness in life. And I'm okay with that because I don't, I want to keep the journey going, and it's not about how much money I make or how big the company gets. For Power Home, I want to be able to have an impactful transaction that impacts all of our employees and is life-changing for them. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for every employee would be a game changer. Google did it, Microsoft did it. Why not Power Home, right? That would be winning for me. I don't care if I make $1 billion or $100 million. It doesn't matter. I'd never spend it anyways. I lived in it. It doesn't matter to me. So that is hard to find, and I rally around people that believe and feel the same way as me, but that's what keeps that journey or that mountain to keep going, because otherwise I could sit up top and go, well, no one's, there's a couple companies that are public, but private, there ain't a company like us. I get it, come get it, but I don't think I need that. I personally need to keep moving.
Jayson, I always say that, I never want to climb the mountain alone. I want to get to the top of the mountain with as many people as I can possibly bring with me. And I want to have a freaking party on top of the mountain, not sit there by myself and say, look what I did. Because that ain't freaking fun. You know what I mean? And so, Jayson, you just said this. You're like, you walk in to your family, or you walk into your business, and you're the motivator. You're the guy that pumps everybody up and motivates them and inspires them. But listen, Jayson, we all have those days. We all have those days where life kind of beats us up, whatever that may be. Who is it that you go to and that you look for the motivation or that kick in the when you need it? Who motivates and inspires Jayson Waller?
I would say my wife. I mean, we have the Bonnie and Clyde story. I mean, when I'm too hard on my kids or unreasonable sometimes because my expectations are always evolving, she's got to reel me in. She's the only one that stands up to me, where a lot of people, she shoots me straight. Like, no, that's BS. You got to do this better. You got to handle this. I use my son as an example. He is a little protege of me, but we're different. He has a lot of anxiety like his mom does. He aspires to be a leader. He's much smarter than I was at 10. He's definitely more athletic, but he struggles sometimes following people or making bad decisions. And, I would get frustrated. Oh, you're grounded, or I'm going to beat your butt, all these things. And my wife pulled me aside not too long ago. And she's like, dude, you got to learn to talk to him, because you'll go talk to everybody, but you're like threatening and being mean and doing this. And, that's what I was raised in, right? Like, you're going to get your butt beat, or you're grounded. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to learn to communicate. So you got to talk to him more. And believe it or not, I mean, he's 10. The conversations we have, it's like he's 30. I go in there and he's like, hey, then this has evolved the last 6 months for us. Hey, Dad, I just want to tell you about my day. And I think I might have done this wrong, but I want to learn from it. I told this kid he shouldn't do that. And what do you think about this? And how should I handle that? And can we do prayer tonight? And hey, Dad, thanks for letting me come to you. And so when he does something bad, I kind of hear about it. And I'll be like, dude, that's not good. Maybe you should take a break for the day. I appreciate you telling me, but let's talk through it. It has evolved our relationship to where he's a mature young boy who gets it. He's way more mature than his friends now because of it. And he's evolving, and it's allowing me to evolve. I'm trying to do it more with my girls. My older girls, they've been tainted. They're like, Dad, whatever, I don't want to hear it. But I'm trying. In work, I always have a thing. I don't have any regrets. And I don't, in life, at home, I struggle making decisions. In work, business, friends, money, don't struggle. In my personal life, I struggle. I'm like, oh, should I do this or not? I struggle, and that's where I lean on my wife. Anything else outside of that, when I make a decision, I'm on. I don't reverse it. I don't think about it. I don't second guess it. However, I'm known to be a hothead. I'm known to be a prick. I'm known to be in people's face like Tasmanian devil. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What's going on? Don't make excuses like I'm an ass sometimes. So the only guilt I have, or sometimes my wife's like, you're a little rough on that person, or she brings me back and keeps me between the buoys. So that motivates me, and I just want her to be proud of me and not let her down. So that keeps me going. You know what I mean? And my kids, like that keeps me going. And really our employees. Yeah. When we get stories of somebody who came in, we had a story, Tim Unesco was living in his car, and now he bought his second house. He's got a family. We had all these people, they buy homes, we love to share those stories because that's what it's about. When you can impact someone's life. And I know that's why you do this, John. Yep. So you can touch people. That you can't buy that. You can't make enough money to feel that feeling that you give back and help people prosper or get over something or not be negative or not be depressed. That's right. That is a great feeling. And that also drives me as the employees of our company.
Jayson, speaking of that, as you're telling me that story, I remember watching a video of you and your son going to get his first haircut after this whole COVID thing, and when you were able to go get a haircut, and you and your son were, I believe, in your wife's Ferrari, and you could just see the smile on his face hanging out with Dad. Why I'm talking to you right now, I'm getting goosebumps because that video spoke a million words of happiness of your son hanging out with Dad and doing Dad things with his son. So I'm proud of you. I don't even know you, but I'm proud of the man that you are. And Jayson, people often say, when I get this, I've made it. Or people that don't have it, they're like, well, if I got that, I would be happy. Jayson, have you gotten to a point in your life that you feel like you've made it? Or is that carrot constantly in front of you as a businessman, as a man, at home? Have you made it yet?
I would say no. I'm not fulfilled. I believe success is fulfilling your whole of happiness and figuring that out. And when I had less, when life was simple, I seemed more happier, right?
Yep.
And not recently, like recently I've really worked on relationships at home, because you dedicate your body and soul to work and grinding and making sure your family can live the best life they can, or go to private schools and have nice things, especially from a kid growing up didn't have anything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I want these nice things. Truth be told, my wife's the car hound, not me. Truth be told,
wait a second. I saw your blue Lambo, man. I mean, she didn't go buy it for you, did she?
Out. No, she
Come on, Jayson. Come on. You just said that you're a control freak. You just said, I'm a control freak. I love it.
So one of our biggest arguments of our entire marriage, when we first got married, was she couldn't keep a car for a year. It was buying another car. We would fight. And I go, honey, we are so upside down in these damn cars. What are you doing? And I drove the simplest piece of forever and didn't care. And she was like, she loves them. Look, she likes that. I don't. However, I'm not going to say I don't like it now that I got it. I'm saying I didn't want it as much as she wanted it, right? So,
yeah.
But I will tell you that to fill me up, and, when I had less, things were simpler. And to my therapist, she's like, it's true. The more successful you get, the more stuff you buy, and the more, more things you get, the harder it is to be happy. And that's a true statement. And I don't want to become that person. I'm not that person. I don't want to become that person. It's not about tangible items for me.
Right.
I want to be able, my kids can live a comfortable life. I can live a good life. I can give them things I didn't have. I can give them opportunity that I didn't have. But realistically, to make it, is when I get every one of those employees to change their life. We're talking 1,200. By the time we do it, 2,500 employees. And even then, I feel like I'm not done. I just want to touch as many people, help as many people, promote life. Life is bad sometimes. We see the news with everything going on in the world, COVID, everything's bad.
Yep.
I just want to be able to have relationships and be impactful and help people. And I think that I want to grow old and be close. And my dad is a great, grandfather, and he was a good dad. I want to be a better dad than him, and I want my kids to be better parents than us. And I want to be a better grandpa than him. And I don't know if I can, because he's like the best grandpa in the world. Same thing with my mom. But I want to be like that and better. And I believe the next generation should always be better. And I tell my kids, like, I don't want to set the bar for them where they've got to be successful making money or doing things. They need to be successful being happy. When Alex asked my daughter Hannah to marry him, Alex came from a broken home and not a lot of things. And he's a great kid. He's a better dad than I was at 21. He's a better fiance than I was at 21. Well, I got married at 21. I will tell you that he's come a long way. Now, he doesn't really work. He just started working again for the company. But I told him when he asked her, I said, I don't care if you push a broom at Walmart, you take out trash, you mow lawns, or you create the next thing in your Bill Gates. I don't care, as long as my daughter's happy and as long as she's safe. And then a few months later, they got pregnant, and then they had Lily, and so I'm a grandpa. And I will tell you that he's done a pretty good job of making them happy. Internally, as a man, he struggles because he wants to provide more. But that's not what this is about. It's about enjoying the time with your family, your friends, and making better decisions and helping people out when you can. It's what I love what we do, doing solar. It's changing the world. It's saving the planet. It's saving people money. We're giving people jobs. We give a lot back in philanthropy. We got a thing called Give Power, where every system we give $40 to a third world country where they build a solar water farm. And each one, I think we're now have donated enough for 3 that we get to help build, is 35,000 cups of water for people a day, clean water in this world.
Congratulations, man.
We've done.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Military makeover. Anytime we can give back, it's so important. And I am not greedy. People that know me, I have nice stuff. I've earned it. I have no debt. I've worked my butt off for years. And finally, as a 40-year-old grandpa, my midlife crisis was buy some cool cars, dye my hair blonde. Okay, I've moved on. Now it's about not being greedy, giving back, and making sure we get to that point. And I think to finish your question, I haven't made it yet, because until everybody who I can touch in my life, I don't know if I'll ever get to that point. I want to make sure that they're able to make it. And I just want my kids to live their best life to the fullest they can and be happy. I don't want them to feel intimidated, like they're going to let me down because they didn't go to college or they didn't open a business. It's not about that to me. It's about them being loving and better than me. That's it.
Jayson, I'm not trying to play on your emotions right now. When when I tell you this. I've spent 23 years building the Motivational Cowboy brand. I'm talking about, I was booked 257 days this year to speak all over the country. And I missed a lot of my daughter's stuff because, she came from a broken home. Me and her mom were only married for a year and a half. But it was always, Dad, Mom, and Frankie, her stepdad. The three of us raised my daughter to be the incredible person that she is today. And you talk about your therapist. My daughter's a clinical psychologist. So unfortunately, I got one that lives a couple miles away from me that I see all the time. But here's what I mean. I've gone through the phases of the boats, the Harleys, the nice things, and everything else. But since this COVID thing, what the coolest thing is going over just like yesterday to help my daughter paint the house and getting a text message that night after she got back from her run and her workout and everything else while I was busting my, and she's like, Dad, the room looks incredible. I just want to say I love you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. It had nothing to do with money. Nothing to do with money. And you know what? It's the chills that I get on my back of knowing that I did the right freaking thing with my kid because I'm raising her the right way.
Well, I was thinking, you just said it. Jayson said it. Music. I'll connect everything with music, Jayson. I'm just telling you that right now. So if we're going to start hanging out, since we're related, just understand it. Kansas answered this a long time ago in Dust to the Wind. All this crap means nothing. What are you going to do with it? It ain't going anywhere.
That's right.
I have to ask, though, Jayson, and again, another analogy. When Johnny invites me here, every time we're on here, we're filled with dreamers. I'm a big dreamer. Johnny is. You are. People we've talked to. Is there something up in that brain of yours right now that is your Sgt. Pepper's? And what I mean by that is that's often considered not only the greatest Beatles album, but the greatest, not Rolling Stones, greatest Beatles album of all time and the greatest record of all time. Is there an idea floating around up there in your brain, since you're constantly pushing the envelope, that is your Sgt. Pepper's?
And you literally have a minute and a half to answer that question.
And that's plenty of time.
Yeah, I would say, the idea that I have up there to really be game-changing, evolutionize everything is when electric cars come out, what we're doing with battery storage and with our company. I'm excited about what that technology is going to do and how, all utility companies eventually will be renewable and people will be able to have more renewable energy at their house and be able to charge their cars. I want to be part of that. We're always forward thinking. I want to be a part of that evolution of people, charging their cars at home. And then it as an idea for the family is I want to invest and help my kids do things to help the world, whatever it is, and what they want to do. I want to set it up to where they can enjoy their life, not have the stress or the hardship that maybe, the three of us have gone through. And they can enjoy the moments that we have missed, but we're trying to get back with our kids, right?
Yep.
So
That's awesome.
that is, to push that forward and to make sure they don't miss those opportunities. Everything I can do to help provide them for that. I don't want to raise brats. I don't want them being judgmental. I don't want them being lazy. I don't want them taking advantage of it. And I don't want them to think there's a free lunch because life doesn't meet you halfway. But I want them to better other people and to feel good about what they do every day. And I just want to help them get there.
Man,
I love
amen.
that.
I couldn't even say it any better. Jayson, just real quick, first of all, I want to say thank you for telling us a little bit about yourself, your inspirational, your motivational story. But how can people follow you on social if they want to reach out to you right now?
Yeah, thank you. So the company's Power Home. So you can check out powerhome.com or check out POWERHOME SOLAR on Instagram or Facebook. And then I've got the podcast True Underdog. You can go to trueunderdog.com. Or you can go to Jayson Waller on Instagram and on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Jayson Waller Bam. And then on Facebook, it's Jayson Waller.
Hey, has anybody ever told you that I've interviewed Guy Fieri a few different times over the years. Do you get that a lot? I just had to ask.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I get that a lot. And look, if Guy ever watches, dude, I'm a little better looking, Guy. I'm just letting you know. I'm a little better looking, baby. That's it. He makes
Jayson,
better food. I look better.
That's right. Jayson Waller, I can't thank you enough for sharing your story, man. And I'm only a quarter of the way through my notes. So I got to have you back on here because I want to touch on a whole bunch more stuff. Brian, I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me. And
thank you, Jayson. It's finally to connect. I'll be talking to you soon, talk about family, whatever.
Yeah, you guys hit me up and DM me on Instagram and Facebook, and let's connect. And I like this setup you got here. This is cool. I like it. So
next time,
I definitely want to pick your brain and see what I can do better.
Yeah, well, next time I want you to come to the studio. That way
I'll pull that off. Yeah.
There we go. Cool. Well, hey, everybody, I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. I can't thank you enough for listening to my podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast. Follow Johnny D on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Motivational Cowboy. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, advertise, or would like to make a donation, please visit motivationalcowboy.com. And remember to have an outstanding day.